Bruce and Tammy, welcome to the old schoolhouse. I think most of you know them. This brings back a lot of really great memories to me. This room here, and I think in 65, 66 was the cafeteria. In fact, I think right just about where I'm standing right now was the table for the bad guys. I was here once, I think it was Spitballs or something like that. Tammy's sister, she turned me in. So right above us is the, I think it's the sanctuary, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, where they worship the Lord. But that was my 5th grade room up there, Mrs. Bray. And I can tell you, the way Mrs. Bray treated me, she wasn't worshiping the Lord. I can tell you that. But of course, maybe it was the other way around. I don't know. But anyways, welcome to the old schoolhouse. My name is Steve Jackson. Helping us tonight is, this is a family affair pretty much. Dawn Harvey, she's my cousin. Myrna Haig is my cousin. Tammy, she's the one, sister of the one that turned me in. So I don't forget those things. The other really 2 real quick things about this building is kind of special to me. There are certain things in our lives, and as I look around, I know there's several people in here that were alive when JFK was killed. I remember exactly in this building where I was standing when I was told. And then one room down was Mrs. Luke's classroom. Mrs. Luke was our 3rd grade teacher. The story about Mrs. Luke, she lived 2 doors up from me as a kid. And when I found out she was going to be my teacher, I broke out in hives. That's the truth. All right, she was tough. I mean, she was a lady. At the end of each marking period, she would have one of those file folders, and she would use about 2 boxes of staples, and all your papers went in there, and they were stapled shut. So if you didn't take all your papers home to mom and dad, they knew it. So she was tough. But anyways, great memories. What we're here tonight to talk about is an opportunity for passive income. It's in the crypto space, and I know when you mention crypto, a lot of people get really anxious because of what's happened in the last year and a half in the crypto space. Bitcoin a year ago in November was, 67 to 69,000 per coin. I was going to look up what it is today, but it's probably somewhere around 29 to 30,000. So if you invested in crypto or Bitcoin, Ethereum, some of the other ones, a year and a half ago, and you invested in those hoping just for it to go up, you probably lost a lot of money. What we're talking about as we get into this is a little bit different program. But before we start, sort of the disclaimer. When you invest in anything, it is a risk, all right? And this is no different. So if you're considering investing, and when we're done, if you consider investing, whether it be $50 or $100 or $1,000 or $50, that doesn't matter. Your money can be at risk. Those of us that remember Kmart's and Sears and Bed Bath and Beyond or whatever it is that just went out of business, Toys R Us, companies come, companies go. Obviously, we wouldn't be invested in this if we were concerned about that, but I need to point out, never invest any more money than what you can afford to lose or what you are willing to risk. So having said that, we're not here to be financial advisors. We're not here to make recommendations to you in terms of what you should be doing with your own assets. That's not our purpose at all. Our purpose here is to share an opportunity with you that Myrna had brought to me a couple of months ago, and to show you what the possibilities are. And along with that, we'll share what we've experienced, our history. It's not a guarantee of future returns or anything like that. So The company is known as CMB. It's Coin Market Bull. And again, this, I apologize if this is hard to read, but this is the risk disclaimer that I just told you about. And again, we're going to share history, and we're not here to be financial or tax advisors. All right? CMB started, the company itself is fairly new. The software has been around for a couple of years. The people that wrote the software are in Hungary, and so therefore that's where the head office is of CMB. They have offices in the UK and around the globe. This is a global company, and this particular offering has been probably 6-7 months, something like that, and there's something like 55 to 60,000 people that now are invested and experiencing a return on their investment daily. All right, we do every day when we get up or before we go to bed or sometime during the day, if we go into our account, we'll see where we were paid for our investment the prior day. So this is a daily return that we can compound. How do they do it? They use advanced artificial intelligence with a bot. Those of you that don't know what a bot is, it's basically automated software that written into the software is the parameters and the rules, and it goes out and artificially in the marketplace through Binance futures, and we'll get into just a minute here how this works. It goes out and probably, I don't know, 1,000 times a second or 1,000 times a minute is making trades on our behalf. There are a lot of bots out there. There are very few bots that has the ability to trade in the short market. Think of it sort of like day trading maybe, except it's like second trading, and the bot identifies different trends throughout the day. So theoretically you could, and this has been the case when I get into it, Bitcoin was like 30,000, still just about 30,000. It could be 30,000 this morning, go down to 29,000, and you still made money because of the peaks and the valleys throughout the day that the bot is doing the trading for us. All right, so this is very, very short trading. We don't depend on the crypto, whatever coin that, and they deal in all different coins, whatever coin that they're dealing in. We don't sit back and wait for it to go up. That's not where our profits come from. Although they do have some that they do a little more long term than they do short term, but that's how they make money. And as an investor, if you invested in Edward Jones, and at the end of the year you get all your paperwork and you look at it and you see where they've made many trades for you throughout the year. They manage your account for you, and you see where you bought and sold different stocks throughout the year. Same idea, but sometimes if you look at those really close, you'll see that you bought a stock on a particular day, and you also sold it on a particular day. So it's the same idea as that. This company has aligned with and licensed with Binance Futures, which is the largest trading platform in the world. In my little mind, I think of it as like this is the Wall Street of crypto. All right, and they've also partnered with Coinbase. Coinbase is where all the transactions are all started. Coinbase is a publicly traded company, and it's the biggest exchange in the world for crypto. So those are the two largest names in the crypto business CMB has partnered with and are licensed to do business with them. This bot that I mentioned to you, the automated software, we lease that. If you were to become involved, you lease this bot to go to work for you, the cost of that is $50 per year. So the first $50 that you put in is going to go towards the lease of the bond. All right? Then
Did I go too fast?
no, you're fine. And every 12 months, again, you pay that $50 lease for this bot to do your trading for you. You can do it any way that you want to do it. All right? You can the $50 that you put in for the bot, again, that's $50 that won't show up in your account. There is no minimum that you need to invest. You can start with an additional $50, and as long as that bot is active, it will start trading with you that day. You'll be paid the next day. This CMB advertises 1.2 to 1.8% daily return. I will tell you the history since I've been in, I've received 1.2%, and I know the rest of us have every single day. Every single day, 1.2, it's never been more. So I don't know whether it's just because we're in a bear market. I don't have the answer to where they get that 1.8. Now, actually, I actually get a little bit more than 1.2 because, again, we're sharing it, and there's a referral that we do get, so maybe that's factored into the 1.8. I don't know where they get that from. So you can start $50, $100, whatever you want to do, up to $50,000 per deposit. And again, you can, each day you're paid. So if you have $500 in your account, the history tells us that you will get 1.2%. It's not guaranteed, but that's what every single day is what we've experienced, which would be $6. You get paid every day. And when you compound that, which we're going to talk about a little bit later here in the next few minutes, that really becomes huge. I think when most of us have heard the story, if you take a penny and you put it in a jar, and tomorrow you double that, 2 cents, you double that to 4 cents to 8 cents, within a month you're a millionaire. Well, I can tell you, I sit down and actually calculate it out. When I should have, the Hags and I are both in the income tax business. We're competitors here in town. But you know, I always tell them they can have all the tax returns. Just tell them to send the checks to me. But they haven't agreed to that yet. But so while I was supposed to be doing taxes, I sat down with my little pen and pencil and I said, okay, we've got to figure this out. So after 25 days, if you did that doubling, you would have $1 million if you had enough money to double it, obviously. But there'd be $1 million in that jar. That is the power of compounding. Obviously, we're not talking about 100% a day. We're talking about 1.2%. We'll play with a calculator in a little bit that will show you fairly precisely what you can expect on a return, and then you can throw numbers in it, and we'll do whatever you want to do with that. And again, I had too much time on my hand. I thought to myself, I wonder how accurate this calculator is that we're going to be showing you tonight. So I sat down with a pen and paper, and I said, if I made $6 today and reinvested it, how much would I have in a year? And it took me several hours, but I came to the figure that I did it in the calculator, and I was really close. So what we're going to show you today is pretty close. If you have the time and you want to do that, you're welcome to do that. This is passive income. The only thing you need to do if you got involved is invest your money, and then every day it's your decision what you want to do with your money. If you have $20 in profit today, it's 100% your choice. Nobody's telling you you need to do anything that you don't want to do with that $20. You can reinvest it and compound it and grow it on a daily basis, or you can take it and withdraw it each and every day. You can do that. And we'll get into some more particulars on how to do that each day. Or you can take a portion of it. Again, it's totally up to you. We don't get paid Nobody cares what you do. It's your account. It's your business. And again, it's totally positive or passive. And the second line there just says the bot's been producing an average of 1.2 to 1.8 in daily profits, and it works 7 days a week. It doesn't shut down on weekends or holidays like the stock market does. Again, it says up to 1.8. I want to stress that we're going to be open and honest and transparent with you. Our experience has been, every one of us, 1.2% every single day. It has not been higher than that. Again, you can withdraw your profits, roll them back in, whatever you want to do. There are referral rewards, which we'll talk about later, but you don't have to take part in that if you don't want to. That's really what's nice about this. If you're just a passive investor that would like to put a little bit of money away for your grandkids or your daughter or your friend or whatever, that's all you need to do. And you still get paid the 1.2% every day based on the history. The minimum amount to withdraw on a daily basis is $20. The minimum amount that you can reinvest is $15. So you have to have $15 in profits in your e-wallet, your electronic wallet, before you can reinvest. So we're using that $500 figure that I mentioned before. If you put $500 in and you made $6, and in 3 days you have $18 that you can reinvest, or in 4 days you have $24, you can take the money out if you'd like to do that. There is a 5% withdrawal fee for them to go through the process of letting you withdraw, which is in the crypto market a really small fee. So again, if you pull out $20, you're actually going to get 19. The initial deposit that you put in the example I gave you is $500. You cannot have access to that for 8 months. Right? This is put in as a safeguard so that the company doesn't get a run on withdrawals. Sort of like the major bank out in California here a couple of weeks ago that crashed because I don't recall exactly what caused it, but there was a run of billions of dollars being withdrawn at the same time, and it took them right out of business. Plus, as far as referral commissions, the company pays out 10 levels deep, and they're paying out 25%. So they need to have this money in time long enough to make some money themselves. Right? I've had people say to me, well, how much does the company make? I don't care. All right? I hope they're making a lot of money because then they can afford to pay me my 1.2% every day. That's all I care. Pay me what you tell me you're going to pay me, and I don't care how much you make, all right, as a company. All right? So I've had that question. And then there's a back office, and there's a different lines of support if you need any support. The company has grown extremely fast in a short time, and to be honest with you, it's not without some glitches. There have been a few glitches along the way, but they work on fixing them, and they do take care of people. And there's a few other things that they're still working on that we've gotten caught up in, but they pay us every day like they say they're going to pay us. So there's really three real easy steps in getting started with CMB. The first thing is you would get with whoever invited you here tonight, and they will send you a referral link so that they get credit for you opening an account. The accounts are free. There's no charge for the account. You go in, it's very simple. You open the account. You have to have some sort of crypto wallet to deposit funds with. So the experience that we have here, we are kind of not kind of, we really are pushing or talking about Cash App. Does anybody have Cash App? All right, Cash App is a really nice, easy app to use. And there's a couple reasons that we like Cash App. If you have Cash App, you can buy Bitcoin right off of Cash App. You just link it to your bank account and you move the money over and you buy your Bitcoin. Where we run into a little bit of a problem in the past has been when you go to buy Bitcoin, it tells you you're not verified. I've had people say, oh, I'm verified in Bitcoin. I look at my limit and I can do $15,000 a day. This is different. You can only send out with Bitcoin, you can only send out send $2,000 a day and $5,000 a week, and you have to be verified. Verification, if you do it right, or if you do it my way, which is wrong, it took me 3 weeks. But if you do it right, in most cases, it's pretty instant. I've had some people tell me tonight it's fairly instant. There are a couple of things that we're learning as we go on how to do Cash App and how to make it work. But we have been depositing into CMB through Cash App. Now, where does the money go once you send it off? We've been told that your money never ever goes to CMB. Your money goes to Coinbase. And that's where it's housed. Coinbase, again, the largest exchange in the world, a publicly owned company, is holding your money. Then they send it to Binance Futures, where they actually do the trading for you with the bot. And then the profits at the end of the day goes to CMB, where they divvy it up and spread it out per however they do it, per dollar or whatever. And then they pay it. So your money never, even though it shows up into your account because you know what you have, the actual money, we've been told, stays at Coinbase except for the profits. All right, so that's where it's a little different from the fear that we heard from the guy who stole billions of dollars from people. So you set up your Cash App or your wallet. The other problem and reason we like Cash App is some of these companies, like you can do it through Coinbase, but Coinbase, when you put money over there, the first couple of times anyways, they're going to hold your money for 2 to 3 weeks. Cash App doesn't do that. All right. And then once they know it's cleared, then they'll give it to you, and you can go buy Bitcoin with it, and you can send it out to CMB. There's others out there, Trust Wallet, Exodus. Exodus, this company, and the people up in this company really talk a lot about Exodus. My problem, I live in New York State. Exodus doesn't do business in New York State. They're not licensed in New York State. So Cash App is, so I like to use Cash App. So anyways, you put money into your crypto wallet, and then from there you can deposit whatever you want to deposit into CMB. Again, the first $50 goes towards your bot. Anything in excess of that starts earning you money right away. Be paid the next day on it. So pretty easy.
So is this where you want the calculator?
Yeah. Those of you that have your cell phones with you, and we'll do this up here. If you're sitting there thinking, how does this work? You really haven't shown me any numbers. This is the point where we really want to show you what can happen. All right. Again, it's an investment, and we don't guarantee it. All right. But do you have a calculator right there?
Well, it's here on my screen, but it's not going up there.
Huh. We had it up there a few minutes ago, didn't we?
We did. Let's see if I can.
Okay, while she does that, if you go to if you can get it on your phone, and you go to the calculator site.com, and then there's a place there that says, I think, about the middle of the page on the left-hand side, something about compound interest. If I go too fast, just holler. All right, and you pull up, and you'll see a calculator that says compound interest calculator. Huh. I wonder why it's on there. Okay.
Because it's in the PowerPoint mode.
Okay. Can you?
What was the first
That's the
one?
only one that I have.
Is that what you have?
Just a calculator's all I have.
That's all I have too, just like that.
I got it, Steve.
Well, here we go. This is what it looks like up here. Can you scroll down a little bit?
I'll try, okay.
All right. Under the initial investment, let's just play with some figures. Okay, let's just put $500 in there. All right. Under the interest rate, we're talking about 1.2%, and she's going to change yearly to daily. And let's say you took your profits and you reinvested 100% of your profits for 1 year. So for 1 year in there. And we're not going to do any additional contributions. Can you, yeah. Go down to compound interval. Now remember, you need to have $15 in order to reinvest. So let's change that monthly down there at the bottom to weekly. We're not going to be able to do it daily.
Right there?
Yeah. Now eventually as your account grows and you get to $1,250, now you're going to make $15 a day. You can do it. All right, but go ahead and calculate that. Let's see what that comes out to. Look at that, your $500 by compounding it weekly at 1.2% on a daily return has grown to $33,500. Now I have people say to me, impossible. Well, I told you, you're welcome to sit down and figure it out yourself. All right? It's too good to be true.
Oh, you say that's on 15,
That's on $500.
500?
Okay? Now let's go to $1,250. Back up. Put $1,250 in there. Now why $1,250? 1.2% at $1,250 is $15.
$1,200.
$1,250. No, not $1,200. $1,250. All right, 1.2% every day. All right, scroll it down. Change the weekly to daily. All right, and go ahead and calculate it. And it comes out to $97,000 you have at the end of the year. Too good to be true. Well, the only thing I can tell you is the formula, the numbers don't lie. The only thing that will change this, there are three things that will change that outcome. Number one, if the company quits paying 1.2% a day, all right, that'll change it. All right, if they went out of business, or you don't reinvest, you decide at some point, which is a good strategy. With, again, I'll tell you what my plans are, is to start to, they call it the 50-50 plan. At some point, you want to make yourself whole. You want to pull your investment out, all right? Or most people do. I mean, you could let that ride for 10 years and have $50 million in there, and 10 years from now the company goes out of business, you've got nothing, all right? So there, you've got to develop your own strategy. Again, we're not here to tell you what to do with your funds, but the formula doesn't change. The only thing that changes is the numbers that you put into it. All right. Can you can you hop in here? I'd like to share my own personal account with you. This is a really, here's how I started. I opened an account for myself, and I opened an account for my wife. The reason I did that was once I opened my account and I referred my wife to it, I got 10% automatically. So automatically I made 10% of my wife's money. That didn't come out of her money. The company paid that to me. All right. She was still full. She was still whole. So that's why I did it like that. So I have two accounts. Well, technically I have one. My wife has one. I don't tell her it's hers.
Are you gonna need that calculator anymore?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I'd like to come back to that.
Steve, aren't you gonna show them like how when you take out what you do the 45 plate?
Well, we'll get back to that. Yeah. Okay. So to show you that this is real, can you get back just to Google where you can sign into the back office?
The way my screen is, that's what I'm trying to do, but the way my
Well,
screen
anyways,
is.
between my wife and I, we invested $2,920 the first week of April. April 1st, I put in $170. Myrna comes to me and says, I'm really concerned about your retirement. And I'm thinking, no, you're not, because I already gave you an offer. I'll take the money. You can have the work, but, so I said, okay, I'll open an account for $170. The next day, I got thinking about it. You know what? I can't reinvest every day like I want to. I mean, there's power in compounding. We know that. All right, so I want to be able to reinvest every day. So I went back in and I put in another $1,200. So I started with $1,370 on April 2nd. On April 2nd, I put in $1,450 for my wife. Does that come to $2,920? Whatever it was. Anyway, it comes to $2,920. Now really, because I had to pay for the bots, and because there is a small fee on the, I think they call it the blockchain, where they take money from dollars and put it in the Bitcoin when you buy, they get a little fee, everybody gets a little cut. I guess I had probably $3,050. But in my account, I had $2,920 between my wife and I, the first week of April. Today, we went over the $10,000 mark in our accounts. Today. So, I mean, almost 3.5 times what we started with. All right? Now, the question has come, well, that's great. Can you get me to it or not?
Can what?
Can you get it to Google so I can pull up my account?
This is the website. Can you go in from there?
Yeah. I want to share. It's not like I'm a millionaire or have $100,000.
The login in the corner
Get
there.
mics. Get mics up there.
No, this is,
Yeah,
let's go, CMB back office.
we're all under you.
Okay.
We want to see it.
You can look up there and see it. Is that what you want?
CMB back office. Yeah.
Okay.
But you can't take that out for 8 months.
Well, we'll cover that in just a minute. You can take money out before 8 months. All right. The question was, I can't touch this for 8 months. I can touch the earnings today. All right. So if I want to take out $1,000, I just let it build up to $1,000 and take it out.
Has anybody done that?
Myrna has withdrawn. I have not, because I'm going to get into my strategy
Okay.
in a minute. You do not have to use my strategy at all. It might be dumb. It might be stupid. For me, it works. Or I think it's going to work anyways, okay?
I've taken 1,200 out. I started March the 25th. I'm making an average of $63 a day since then. And I've taken 1,200 out. Mine's still growing, it's fine.
Now you notice there's pretty good security here. And now I have to put in my Google authentication number. No, we're not going to save that.
You want to save it on my computer?
No. Dawn and I used to camp together every weekend. I know what she's like. We hated each other back then.
We did?
No. We didn't. I just hated you. Everybody loved me. What I'm doing here is putting in a Google authentication number. All right. This is a little hard to see, but here's my account. That is what I have in there right now. That is what I made yesterday. That is what CMB paid me today that I have not reinvested yet. All right? So I'm going to go up here. It's off the screen. All right? But it'll take me 5 seconds. I don't see it.
I don't see it either.
Okay. It will take me 5 seconds to go in and reinvest that money. And I'll do that right now and see if I can.
And you have to do that daily.
You don't have to do it daily. You can do it as often as you'd like to do it. But remember, we're talking about compounding.
Right.
All right? Compounding on a daily basis is more powerful than compounding on a weekly basis. All right? So you're losing the gain off of compounding. All right? You can do whatever you want to do. That's the great thing. There are no rules.
You would lose the interest, Sherry, on it.
Yes, and I don't like to call it interest.
Oh, yeah.
All right? I like to call it earnings. It's really not interest.
Now, is there a time frame different than what ours is since they're based out of another country, or?
I don't know the answer to that.
Okay. Do you go in at a certain time every day and do it?
I go in the evening, and the reason I go in the evening is I have some people that reinvest during the day, some people that reinvest in the evening, and I get 10% of it. Right now, I'm getting 15% of it.
The other day I had 66 in the morning and I have another 60 in the afternoon.
Just give me a second here. I'm going to reinvest that and see if I can refresh that.
My servers are even better.
I had 15 one morning and then went in and it was 150, 3 later, and, yeah. Steve, this blew my mind, you know, somebody signed up on my first level for $1,000. And Myrna, and I wasn't even thinking about that, you know, you get the 10% commission on your first level.
Right.
So the $100 that I made will make me $7,000 in a year.
Right.
By me reinvesting it. That's
Okay.
not even the.
How can I refresh
this?
this?
Earnings that I get from that person later, it's just that $100.
Now you can see I just reinvested my 123.22. I now have 5,080.64. I know right now that out of that, I'm going to get 1.2% tomorrow morning. But you know the great news is I'm going to get more than that, and I'm going to tell you why in a little bit here. All right, but that's my account. My wife's is very similar. We run pretty close together. I reinvest in the evening. The reason I reinvest in the evening, it doesn't make any difference as long as it's throughout the day, is I have some people that reinvest in the morning, some people that reinvest in the afternoon, some that reinvest in the evening. When I reinvest my money, like I just did right now, my $123, Myrna just made $12 off of me. She owes me, well, she gave me dinner. So she just made $12. All right. So that's how it works. If you'd like to take a minute, or you can play with your calculator if you got it up. Or if somebody wants to we can pull that back up. If somebody wants to just throw out numbers, we can show you. All right, exactly. So what we've done is we've showed you what the 1.2% can do for you. All right. I'm not asking anybody for, oh, what are you thinking? What are you thinking? I'm just saying, if you've got your calculator up and you have a figure in mind, throw it in there. All right.
You would reinvest more at another date.
You can always go back and do more. Now, my idea is this. Between my wife and I, we have $10,000. When we get to the point that every day, and it's about 160 now, when we get to the point that every day we have $300 coming in, I'm going to use, most people talk about the 50-50 rule. Again, I have too much time on my hands. I sat down and I figured out, do you know that when you're talking about compounding here, if I took 50% of my earnings out and reinvested 50%, and Dawn took 45% out and reinvested 55%, at the end of the year she got more money than I do? I mean, she's taken out more money than I have. Because, again, the power of compounding. All right, so my 50%, even if we were talking about the exact same numbers, and her 45%, I would have pulled out, I don't know, say 20,000, she would have pulled out 22. You know, so most people talk about the 50-50 rule. All right, there comes a point when, and again, you don't need to use this rule, but my intentions are, once I get to the point that between my wife and I, we have $300 per day coming, and we're getting close. The last 3 days has been over 160. Today it was over 200. But we got to look at averages, because sometimes people don't reinvest every day. They get busy, forget it, and then reinvest, $50 today when they could have done it 3 days. All right, so you got to look at averages. When we get to $300, I'm going to start my 45-55 rule. I'm going to start withdrawing. I don't know if I'll do it daily or weekly, but I'm going to start withdrawing part of it, and the other part of it, I'm going to reinvest. Let's take a look at what happens if we do that. All right? Yeah, can I do this? To do that, if I had $20,000, let's just call it 24,000. 24,000 is going to give me what, 240 and 480, 28. Plus, there's some people underneath me reinvesting. So let's just use that figure. First of all, we got to go over here because it's a little different. Come on, here we go. So let's say I have $24,000 at 1.2% daily. And let's just say for 6 months, which is 180 days. And I reinvest 50%, well, 45%, okay? I start with 24,000, I take half of it. Oh, did I do weekly? No, this is daily reinvest rate, 45%, okay? At the end of 6 months, I've withdrawn this amount here, 47,000, so call 48,000. But yet my account has grown from 24,000 to 63,000. Wow. Pretty amazing. Pretty amazing.
But why do the total interest earnings,
Where,
how does that not match?
this here?
Yeah.
Because you got, because this is compound interest every day. All right, what do you think it should match?
Oh, is that in addition to, that's just added on to the 24?
That's,
I'm saying like 6.
well, this is added on to the 24, but it's more than this because you pulled this out. All right?
Okay.
So, but that's a good question. And I did sit down one day, I don't remember how I came out, but just to make sure that came out. But that's your total interest that you've earned over a 6 month period. Now you gotta keep in mind, you've pulled some interest out here. All right? So, but let's say you do it for 360 days. Look at that. In 1 year, I've pulled out almost $175,000, and my account is still growing to this. You times that by 1.2%, and you're making a lot of money. Now, the reason I like to use this instead of this one is this gives me a daily. If I start on May 26th, this gives me a daily. How much I reinvested, how much I pulled out, and my new balance each day. All
You
right?
say you pull out, what do you, I mean, is you use that money or
You,
you just?
you move it to your own personal wallet, and then you take it. You can leave it there in Bitcoin, but Bitcoin goes up and down. Now you're back to hoping it goes up or you're losing money. But you change it to US dollars and pull it out and do whatever you want with it.
Don't you
All
have to
right?
pay
Diversify.
tax on it?
What's that?
You have to pay tax on it?
Yes, you do. All right. Well, let me. First of all, the IRS never lets anybody go with income without tax. We all know that. All right. All right. But let me. I told you I'm involved and have been for almost 40 years at H.R. Block here and over. I sent this question to our tax attorney. All right, the people that H.R. Block uses. Because some people were telling me, oh, you don't have to pay tax on it until you pull it out. My own personal opinion is you do. All right? If you invested at Edward Jones and you made $20,000 in dividends and you reinvested your dividends, you didn't pull anything out, you're still going to pay tax on that $20,000. All right? In my mind, it's no different. So what I sent them was a scenario, and it's what they call raking. All right? IRS has not made a determination on raking. But they have made a determination on what they call mining. All right? And the mining it will be taxed as ordinary income. All right? And on your tax return, from what I've been told, it should go under other income, which is Schedule 1 or wherever it is, but it finds its way to your 1040.
So
Okay?
you would put in the amount that you have total. Not the
Yeah,
amount
you know,
that
here's
you're taking
where
out cash.
you're not going to get a 1099 statement like you do if you go to Edward Jones or anything like that. So I'm just telling you what I'm going to do.
Right,
with my
I'm asking, what
taxes,
are you gonna do?
I'm going to do. If I reinvest it, I'm going to pay the tax on the reinvestment. You know what? I hope I have to pay $300,000 in tax.
Yeah.
All right. I really, because you don't pay it until you make it. The only thing is up to me to manage it to the point where I have the cash to pay the tax. So I'm going to have to withdraw enough to make sure I do that.
Right there
But
is where
as I
he's at.
reinvest
If I
it, now
click
it's
on
up to
that.
me because I'm not going to get a 1099 to keep track of what I've already paid tax on. And they call that a basis or an adjusted basis. So that when the day comes I pull it all out, I don't have to pay tax on it again. You're going to pay tax on the earnings one time.
The reason why I was asking is because, like, I live on my social security,
Right.
and if I make over 18,000 a year. in
Well,
tax
that's not
on
true.
Social Security-
All right, the way
Well,
that
that's
works.
what they told me. So
Well,
that's why I'm
here's
asking.
what's true about that. And I have studied that a lot. I mean, that's a different issue than a tax issue. But my daughter, she now works for the VA, but she used, for about 5 years, she worked for Social Security. What you're talking about is that is earned income. If you go out and you earn more than, and it's higher than 18,000, it might be 21,000 now, but if you go out and earn that, then for every $2 you make, you got to pay $1 back in Social Security. Okay? Now, if you make the kind of money that we're talking about making here, up to 85%, in fact, probably 85% of your Social Security is going to become taxable. All right? If all you have is Social Security now, you're not paying any tax on your Social Security. But if you start to get this kind of income, up to 85% of your Social Security can become taxable and likely would. But that's
So, like,
okay.
I'm still getting my social security check. It's
You'll
just
still get it. This
that
will not
I
affect
have
it.
to pay taxes on it.
This is investment income. This has nothing to do with the 18,000 that you're talking about. That is earned income. That's if you go out and you have a job.
So there is a difference.
There is a
Because I
difference.
wasn't sure with the cash
Right.
wallet, it's.
Right, there's a difference between earned income and investment income.
Okay.
Okay? You can have as much investment income as you want without losing any Social Security.
Okay.
Would there be a difference though, as far as, Like if you're earning an interest off of your investments, but then you are earning income based on other investments of people who are underneath you, would this not be qualified as earned income and this one as interest?
That's a good question, and very possibly, yes. All right. What she's talking about here is, and we're going to get into that in just a minute here. All right. So, in fact, let's go ahead and move on. If anybody wants to play with the calculator later, has questions, we're gonna stick around, but we don't want to get too long here.
Are you gonna show them like on yours and networking versus the daily?
I think I took mine down. Is this
Yeah, I can bring it up right
okay?
there.
All right, this number up here under total earnings, that's what I've earned. But you can see across in the middle there on top, $1,818. That's network earnings. That is the amount that might be considered earned income. Yes, that would more than likely be considered business self-employment income. Yes, and because that is money that I've earned by sharing with others. Okay, that's not investment income. You're absolutely right on that. That's the way I'm going to report it. All right. Some people, you want to disagree with me, or your accountant tells you different. All right, that's fine. But
Do you get discount rates for everybody that's here and underneath you?
that's where we're gonna go right now with that. All right. So look, if you could be sitting here and saying, all I want to do is, you might say I don't want to invest. That's fine. All I want to do is invest and enjoy my passive income. I don't want to share with anybody. That is fine. You can still make your money. This is very different than most network companies because you don't have to go out and sell anything. You don't have to go out and recruit anybody. You don't have to do a thing to earn your passive income of 1.2%. That's great. But let me ask you something. If you turned $1,250 into $97,000 and you didn't tell your daughter, would she be mad at you?
Yeah.
Or would you be so excited that you would tell your best friend or your sister or your brother?
Your cousin?
Or your cousin? Okay? All right? You don't have to, but it's nature that you would. All right? So let's move into the next section here quickly. And the amazing thing is this. You don't have to, if you want to share with one person, that one person comes in, that's fine. Right now, for this month, they're paying 15% to the person who you sign up under. Normally it's 10%. The second level is 5%. The third and fourth level is 2%. It goes down 10 levels, so it's like 0.3%, right? And it goes real wide. Right? A lot of people say, I don't want to be involved in a pyramid. It's a pyramid scheme. I'm here to tell you, I can make more money than Myrna. It is not a pyramid scheme. Networking is not, all right? If you work at Walmart, or I don't care where you want to work, then I would tell you to quit your pyramid if you don't believe in it and go out and find something else to do and work for yourself, because that's a pyramid. You're a entry-level person, and then you got a supervisor, and then you've got a department manager, and then you got an assistant store manager. You get the point on up. You know what? The only way you move up is if somebody likes you. All right? You could be the best at your job. If they don't like you, you're never moving up. It's different here. Okay? So, again, you don't have to do that. You don't believe in that? That's absolutely fine. All right? That's fine. But here's, all right,
You want me to go back?
you put my words up there?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, I didn't, but it's,
Can we start over?
at first the
Okay.
internet wasn't strong enough to pick up the words. Now it is
Okay.
You are
evidently.
taping this, right, Dawn?
Yes, it's
All
recorded.
right, listen. There's no faces except mine, so.
Yeah.
All right, so don't worry.
Yeah.
Can you put the chart, can you go on to it, or did we decide not to do
The, what chart?
that? Okay, all right, well, anyways, let me tell you this real quick, and if you want to run the calculator real quick, I'll tell you this, or we can do it. If you invested $1,500 under me today, And the only way it's gonna come to me is if I invited you here, and I don't see any of the faces here, or if you came because of an ad.
Do you want the power of teamwork slide? I can unhide
Yeah,
it.
yeah. So, if you invest $1,500, you've lost the first 50 because you released the bot. You got $1,450. All right. I get 10% of that, not out of your money, out of the company's money. I get $145. I go and reinvest that $145. I compound it every day for 1 year. It turns into over $11,000. All right, that I get for just sharing this with you. And you know what? If you take your money and you compound it every day for a year without pulling anything out, thank you. I have now earned $60,000 off from you by just showing you this. All right, so there's the power of sharing. All right, and again, I'm not gonna, if somebody comes in, I don't tell them what to do with their money. I don't tell them you should, yeah, I want you to keep it there. You want to pull it out every day? Good. I'm still going to make my $11,000 off the commission I've already made. All right? So that's pretty powerful right there, if you know one person. And most people say to me, I'm going to share it, but I want to wait a couple months. I understand that. You know, you want to know, you're not going to want to share it with your friend or your sister or your family unless you are experiencing some success yourself. I know Tammy told me her money tripled.
It seems like a lot to share, though.
What's that?
It seems like a lot of information.
Well,
Doesn't seem like a
there is a presentation,
Okay.
all right? And you want help? You know what? If you came in under me and you said to me, hey, my brother's interested, I'm really not comfortable sharing this, would you help me with it? Guess what? I get half of what you get. So your brother could be worth $30,000 to me in the first year. You better believe I'll help you. Okay?